Hi everyone, my name is Karen, this is my channel RatherBeReading, and today I'm bringing to you my July TBR. So if you watched my June wrap-up, or frankly any of my June reading vlogs, then you know that June wasn't my greatest reading month. So I'm really hoping that things are going to pick up for me in July. Now it is actually the 5th today, so I've actually already read one or two of these. But I'm not going to tell you which ones they are, so you're just going to have to wait for my first July reading vlog for that little tidbit of information. But let's jump in. Let's first off talk about the library books. So if you watched any of my June stuff, my TBR, my wrap-up, or any of my vlogs, then you know that I was trying to get through a lot of library books because I had a lot of pressing due dates and I was really hoping I was going to be able to get ahead. But then I had a really crappy reading month and I didn't get as much read as I would have liked, so I didn't end up really getting ahead at all, and so I have a massive pile of library books here that I need to get through once again in the month of July. Library due dates are just kicking my ass at the moment, so yeah, let's talk about the library books first off. So first off, I have Fathomless by Jackson Pierce. This is the third book in the fairy tale retelling series. This one is a retelling of The Little Mermaid. I then have Plum Spooky by Janet Evanovich and also Fingerlickin' 15 by Janet Evanovich. These are books 14.5 and book 15 in the series. I've mentioned this before. This is technically an in-between novella, even though it's literally like 20 pages. Sorry, this one's the novella. It's literally like 20 pages shorter than the actual next book in the series, but I do want to get through both of those this month. I then have Cards on the Table by Agatha Christie. This is the next Hercule Poirot book that I need to get to. I can't remember what number I'm up to, but this is the next one, and I always really enjoy my Agatha Christie reads, so I am looking forward to getting to this one in July. Next, I have Rock Chicks by Ronnie Cooper. This is one that meets one of my goals for the year for one of my different TBR challenges. This is really hefty. This is about 450 pages. This one's about the groupie, the wife, and the manager, the three strong women, three best friends who have to do with the world's greatest band. I frankly don't know how much I'm going to enjoy this, but I'm going to give it a go. Next, I have Void Moon by Michael Connelly. I mentioned a while ago when I hauled this that I basically just decided to bite the bullet with Michael Connelly and read everything of his in publication order. So I've paused where I am at in the Harry Bosch series and I've just kind of gone back to read everything of his that was published earlier that I haven't got to, because a lot of it, just basically everything of his ends up interconnecting. So this one doesn't follow Harry Bosch. This one follows Cassie Black. I have no idea who Cassie Black is or what she does. I don't know. Normally he follows like a lawyer or a police detective or a journalist. They're basically his three main people that he's followed so far, types of characters. But I have no idea really what this is, except that I enjoy Michael Connelly, so hopefully I'm going to enjoy this one as well. Next, from the library, I have Princess of Thorns by Stacey J. This one is about a girl who is the daughter of Sleeping Beauty, but she has her own kind of curse on her that's I think it's something to do with that she can only experience platonic love. She can't have romantic love, but then we also follow a prince who he's cursed and he needs to convince a woman, like a girl, to fall in love with him. She has to agree to marry him before he turns 18. Otherwise, I can't remember. I don't know what happens. Something bad is going to happen. Winifred. Oh, sorry. Something bad is going to happen. And obviously those two curses don't match up well together. So this will be interesting to see where this goes. I believe this is the first one in I think maybe a companion fairy tale series. I'm not too sure, but I don't know whether I'm going to like this or not, but I guess we will find out. And then the final book I have from the library is Giant Days Volume 6. I'm really excited to get to this one because I really do love this graphic novel series, and I know this is one that I'm going to enjoy. Now let's move on to the books from my physical TBR that I have. This is all repeat from my June TBR. Because I was focusing on the library books last month, I only got to one of the books from my physical TBR that was on my June TBR. So this is all repeat, so I'm going to go through these quickly. First off, we have the Across the Universe trilogy by Beth Revis. We have Across the Universe, A Million Suns, and Shades of Earth. This is a YA sci-fi trilogy that is about a girl who is cryogenically frozen for like a 300-year trip across space. and she ends up being woken up 50 years early because someone is trying to kill the frozen people, and she's woken up early, and it's just kind of all about that, plus the kind of murder mystery of who is trying to kill the frozen people. So we've got that trilogy. And then I'm also hoping to get through the first 3 books in the Study series by Marie V. Schneider. So we have Poison Study, Magic Study, and Fire Study. So this is the first 3 books. I've mentioned this before, but then when you read this trilogy, there's then another trilogy of hers that you need to read, and then you can read the final 3 books, which is kind of like its own trilogy, but follows on from this trilogy. So my aim is just to get through the first 3 of this trilogy in the month of July. So that is 6 books, so it's kind of ambitious, but I'm hoping I can do it. Now let's move on to the ebooks that I'm hoping to pick up in the month of July. Again, 2 of these are repeats. I normally don't have repeats on my TBRs, but because I'm normally pretty good about getting through what I say I'm going to get through, but June, it was not a great reading month for me, as I've mentioned. So first off, I have 2 NetGalley books that I need to get through. The first of those is The Lucky Ones by Tiffany REISZ. So this one was on my TBR last month, and I'm really upset I didn't get to it because it was the June book for the Deadly Divas book club, and I just didn't get to it. So I'm really upset about that, but I am hoping to pick it up this month. This one is a thriller, I believe, an adult thriller, and it's about a girl who was kind of adopted. Her and a bunch of other kids were all adopted by this like wealthy man, and she's the youngest of those children, but then something happens to her and she's almost killed, but she survives, and then I believe it's years later and she's now an adult, and the wealthy man who adopted all these children is dying, and she returns to the home to kind of say goodbye to him, and then it's about her trying to discover what happened back then, like how she almost died, like what happened to her, if someone tried to kill her, something like that. I'm hoping that it's going to be a good one because I was really excited to get to it in June and it just didn't happen. So hopefully it's going to be a good one. And the second NetGalley book that I have is The Babysitter by Cheryl Brown. This one is another adult thriller, and this one is about a babysitter, in case you couldn't tell. I believe this is kind of your typical kind of almost kind of tropey The Hand That Rocks the Cradle type of book, if you guys have seen that movie, about a family who gets like a babysitter slash nanny type of thing in, and then I think maybe the babysitter ends up being a little bit sinister. I don't know too much about it apart from that, but it sounds intriguing, and I've always enjoyed that movie, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, and I generally enjoy this trope. I'm into tropes in thrillers, in case you guys hadn't noticed. If it's tropey, I don't really care. I still want to read it. And the last ebook that I'm hoping to get through is technically a backlist Kindle book, but I mentioned this in my TBR last month. It is actually a NetGalley read as well. I've reached the point on my Kindle where the older books that I haven't got to are actually older books on my Kindle are actually NetGalley books that I never got to. That was a hard sentence to get out. So this is Rumors by A.C. Arthur. This one is another thriller. Another thriller. This one is about a group of teenagers, and they're all friends, and then one of them, I believe a girl, is murdered, and one of the boys in the group is accused of it. And then I believe, but he's never like convicted, it's just accused, and then it's always kind of a question amongst people as to whether he did it or not. And then I believe it's years later, and the boy who was accused of it is returning to the town where like he grew up and where all of this went down, to try and clear his name and find out what really happened to this friend. Again, tropey, but I don't care. It's actually one of my favorite tropes of like returning to like the small town where you grew up. That's one of my favorite thriller tropes, so I'm definitely looking forward to this one. And finally, to touch on some of the audiobooks that I'm hoping to get through in the month of July. So I have quite a few, I've got a few audiobooks that are in, ready to go, and then I also have quite a few that are on hold, but I'm not sure what's going to come in, what's not. So I'm going to talk about 3 of the audiobooks that I'm pretty sure I'm going to be getting to. First off, we have How to Be a Woman by Caitlin Moran. This one is a non-fiction self-help / memoir type of novel that is very feminist, about how to be a woman or like women's issues. So looking forward to that. Also, I have Inferno by Julie Kagawa. This one is the 5th and final book, I believe, in the Talon saga. This one is a YA fantasy series about dragons. It's about like humans who can transform into dragons and that type of thing. So again, that series isn't my favorite, but I'm looking forward to reading that final book and finishing off the series and kind of seeing how everything ends. And finally, on audiobook, I'm hoping to get to Ink and Bone by Lisa Unger. This is another thriller. This one has, I think I've read some other books by Lisa Unger before. I don't think they were like my favorite, but I also don't think they had this kind of supernatural-ish twist, like paranormal twist to them that this one has. So this one is about a woman who can see the future. And I think she moves to be close to her grandmother, who is like a very prominent like seer, and so she moves closer to her so she can learn more about her gift. But there's also a girl in this town who went missing like some months previously, and I think it's about our main character trying to discover more about her powers and also trying to help find this little girl that's gone missing. So that sounds like a good time, if I'm being honest, and like definitely a book that I would enjoy. So those are most of the books that I'm hoping to get through in July. If I could get through all of this, I don't know, this pile of library books is looking goddamn intimidating, but I'm hopeful. So yeah, those are the books. Please comment down below if you've read any of these books, if you have any thoughts, if you think I'm going to get through them. Let me know down below. I'd love to know what you guys are hoping to get to in July. Are your plans as ambitious as mine? I'd love to know. Please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe if you want to see more from my channel. But that is all I have for this video today. Bye guys.